In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 NFL games happening on October 29, 2023, and providing you with a free team pick and total pick for this game, so 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on this 3 NFL game after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start, if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Houston Texans versus Carolina Panthers. In a showdown featuring the top 2 picks from the 2023 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans are set to square off against the Carolina Panthers this Sunday afternoon at the Bank of America Stadium, with the Texans coming off a 20-13 victory over New Orleans as 2-point underdogs and the Panthers enduring a 42-21 loss to Miami as 14-point underdogs. This game carries a sense of intrigue. Both teams had the luxury of a bye week before this matchup. The Texans' season got off to a rocky start, marked by losses to the Ravens and the Colts. However, they managed to gain some momentum with impressive offensive displays in wins against the Jaguars and the Steelers. Unfortunately, they hit a roadblock again with a narrow 21-19 loss to Atlanta. The Texans rebounded with a victory over the Saints in their 6th game, bringing their record to .500 for the year. In their October 15th clash against the Saints, the Texans held a 17-10 lead heading into the second half, ultimately securing a 20-13 win. Quarterback C.J. Stroud contributed 199 yards with 2 touchdowns and an interception. Running back Devin Singletary racked up 58 yards on 12 carries, while wide receiver Nico Collins added 80 yards from 4 receptions. On the flip side, the Carolina Panthers have faced immense challenges this season, boasting a porous defense and an ineffective offensive attack. Their struggles have translated into losses against the Falcons, Saints, Seahawks, Vikings, Lions, and most recently, a 42-21 defeat at the hands of the Dolphins. In their recent clash against Miami, the Panthers started strong, securing a 14-0 lead after the first quarter. However, they faltered as the game progressed, allowing Miami to score 28 unanswered points, culminating in a challenging 42-21 loss. Quarterback Bryce Young managed 217 yards and a touchdown, while running back Chuba Hubbard contributed 88 yards and a touchdown on 19 carries. Wide receiver Adam Thielen had an impressive outing with 11 receptions for 115 yards and a touchdown. The Texans have managed to secure victories in 3 of their last 4 games, with their offense performing well, having scored at least 30 points in 2 of those games. They excel in the passing game, though their rushing attack has room for improvement. Additionally, they have displayed strong ball security. The Panthers, on the other hand, have suffered 6 consecutive losses, experiencing offensive challenges with an average of fewer than 20 points per game in their last 3 outings. They struggle in both the running and passing game. The Texans' defense is proficient at limiting rushing yards, which should enable them to focus on stopping the Panthers' passing game. The Houston Texans possess a dynamic offense led by C.J. Stroud, who has excelled in avoiding turnovers. This passing offense is expected to pose difficulties for the struggling Carolina defense, which has faced challenges against teams like the Miami Dolphins, Detroit Lions, and Seattle Seahawks. Meanwhile, the Panthers' running game has struggled significantly, making it even more challenging for them to find success against the Texans' defense. This season, Houston holds a 4-2 record against the spread, whereas Carolina is 0-5-1 and 0-1-1 as home underdogs. As they seek their first win of the season, the Panthers are favored with home field advantage. In contrast, the Texans will aim to move above a .500 record for the season. With Houston securing a couple of notable wins this season and coming off 3 victories in their last 4 games, they are the favorites. However, Houston's road record stands at 1-2, and they recently had a lackluster performance in the passing game. The Carolina defense has struggled, allowing 42, 42, 21, and 37 points in their last 4 games, making it difficult for them to counter Stroud effectively. So the Houston Texans to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The Carolina Panthers offense is expected to encounter challenges when attempting to score against the Houston Texans. The Texans boast a stingy defense that prevents a high number of points, and quarterback Bryce Young has faced issues with turnovers, which will limit the Panthers' point production. This season, Houston holds a 4-2 record favored in favor of the under, including a 2-1 record on the road. While Carolina has more frequently leaned towards the over, this tendency is largely attributed to their defense's struggles, as Houston's offense doesn't match the likes of the Lions and Dolphins. The Texans are averaging 22.5 points per game and 22 points per game on the road. They averaged 12 points per game in their last 3 matchups against the Panthers, with Carolina allowing an average of 20.5 points per game at home. The Texans are likely to score below their season average in this game. The Panthers, in contrast, are averaging 19 points per game and 15 points per game at home. They managed an average of 21 points per game in their last 3 contests against the Texans. Given that the Panthers and Texans have consistently gone under the total in their last 4 meetings, it is reasonable to expect a lower scoring game. Considering that Houston's defense has allowed an average of 21 points per game on the road, the Panthers are unlikely to put up enough points to push the total score past the projected total. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Jacksonville Jaguars vs. Pittsburgh Steelers. In an American Football Conference showdown, 2 teams seeking to make their mark in their respective divisions will collide in the Steel City as the Jacksonville Jaguars take on the Pittsburgh Steelers this Sunday. The Jaguars, fresh off a 31-24 road victory over New Orleans, are riding a 4-game win streak, defying the odds as 2.5-point underdogs. In their last contest, the Steelers prevailed over the Rams, winning outright as 3.5-point underdogs. In the all-time regular season series, the Steelers hold a 13-12 advantage and have secured the last 2 meetings, including a 27-3 road victory in their most recent matchup on November 22, 2020. The Jaguars' season commenced on an uneven note with a 1-2 record. They opened with a victory against the Colts but stumbled against the Chiefs and the Texans. Since then, Jacksonville has been on a tear, stringing together a series of wins against the Falcons, the Bills, the Colts, and the Saints. In their recent contest against the Saints, Jacksonville consistently produced points across all 4 quarters and kept the damage in check on the defensive side. Quarterback Trevor Lawrence concluded the game with 204 yards and a touchdown, while also leading the team in rushing with 59 yards. Wide receiver Christian Kirk made a significant contribution with 8 receptions for 90 yards, including a touchdown. The Steelers had their share of struggles early in the season, posting a 2-2 record with wins over the Browns and the Raiders and losses to the 49ers and the Texans. However, they found their rhythm recently, registering back-to-back victories against the Ravens and the Rams. In their last game against the Rams, Pittsburgh overcame a 17-10 fourth-quarter deficit with 2 unanswered scores. Quarterback Kenny Pickett amassed 230 yards on 7 of 25 passing, while running back Najee Harris contributed 53 rushing yards and a touchdown. Wide receiver George Pickens led the receiving corps with 107 yards on 5 receptions. Both teams enter this matchup with significant momentum, as the Jaguars have won 4 consecutive games, while the Steelers have triumphed in 4 of their last 5. Despite owning a winning record, Pittsburgh has encountered offensive struggles this season and holds a negative point differential. The Steelers did welcome back wide receiver Deontay Johnson last week, but tight end Pat Freiermuth is unavailable due to injury. Jacksonville has shown consistency on both sides of the ball and boasts a strong trio of pass-catching options in Ingram, Ridley, and Kirk. Pittsburgh has had difficulty stopping the run, conceding 4.7 yards per carry and a total of 854 rushing yards while ranking 30th in total defense. The Steelers' offense has struggled to compensate for these issues against a team like Jacksonville that excels on both sides of the ball. With the potential to emerge as contenders in the deeper American Football Conference, Jacksonville is in a prime position to close out a perfect month by defeating the Steelers. While the Steelers pose a formidable challenge, it's a testament to what Jacksonville's head coach, Doug Peterson, has built in the franchise. So the Jacksonville Jaguars to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The Jacksonville Jaguars have seen the over hit in 4 of their 7 games this season, including 2 of their 3 road games. These games have produced a combined 52 points against Indianapolis on September 10th and 45 points in their win over Buffalo in London on October 8th, as well as 55 combined points in their victory against the Saints last week. On the other hand, the Pittsburgh Steelers have remained under the total in 5 of their 6 games this season, with the only exception being their season-opening loss to the 49ers, which saw a combined 37 points on September 10th. It's unlikely that Pittsburgh's offense will run away with this game, scoring 28-plus points, as they are expected to rely on a significant number of rushing plays and attempt to break through Jacksonville's formidable defense. Moreover, Pittsburgh quarterback Kenny Pickett is unlikely to take unnecessary risks in the passing game. A close contest that sees the Steelers remain competitive likely means that they have successfully contained Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars' offense. Following Lawrence's comments about the terrible towel earlier in the week, the Steelers' defense is likely eager to face the young quarterback. In 5 of the last 6 meetings between these two teams, the total points stayed below the projected total. Given Pittsburgh's recent offensive struggles, this game is likely to fall short of a few points. It feels like a game with a final score of around 20-17 for either side, as touchdowns are expected to be hard to come by against both teams' strong defenses without significant big plays. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. New Orleans Saints versus Indianapolis Colts. On Sunday, the New Orleans Saints will make a trip to Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis to face the Indianapolis Colts. New Orleans is coming off a disappointing 31-24 home loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars, while the Colts faced a tough 39-38 defeat against the Cleveland Browns in their last outing, though they managed to cover the spread. Both teams are dealing with several injuries, with key players listed as out or questionable. The New Orleans Saints are currently averaging just 19 points per game, ranking 21st in the NFL. They rely on a solid passing attack that averages 227.9 yards per game, but their running game has been struggling, managing only 98.1 yards per game. Quarterback Derek Carr has thrown for 1,600 yards, with 6 touchdowns and 4 interceptions in just 4 games due to a suspension. Alvin Kamara leads the team in rushing with 261 yards and a touchdown, despite playing in only 4 games this season. Chris Olave is the leading receiver with 39 receptions for 471 yards and 1 touchdown. The New Orleans defense is impressive, allowing just 18 points per game and 285.7 total yards per game. They are particularly stingy against the pass, surrendering an average of 187 yards per game, and they allow an average of 98.7 yards rushing per game. Linebacker Pete Werner leads the team with 47 tackles, while Carl Granderson tops the sack list with 4.5. 8 different players have recorded 1 interception each. In total, the Saints have notched 13 quarterback sacks and 8 interceptions. The Indianapolis Colts are averaging 25 points per game, ranking 6th in the NFL. They generate 361.1 total yards per game, with a balanced offensive approach, gaining 124 rushing yards per game and 237.1 passing yards per game. Gardner Minshew, the backup quarterback after the season-ending loss of Anthony Richardson, has thrown for 1,187 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. Zach Moss has been effective with 523 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns, while Jonathan Taylor, in just 3 games, has contributed 112 yards rushing and 1 touchdown. Michael Pittman Jr. leads all receivers with 42 receptions for 489 yards and 2 touchdowns. Indianapolis's defense has allowed an average of 27 points and 351.3 yards per game, ranking 30th and 22nd in the NFL, respectively. They concede an average of 118.7 yards rushing per game and 232.6 yards passing per game. Linebacker Zaire Franklin leads the team with 88 tackles and has also contributed 1.5 quarterback sacks. Samson Ebukam leads in sacks with 4, and Julian Blackmon has made 2 interceptions to top the Colts. The Colts have recorded 20 quarterback sacks and 60 interceptions. Neither team is currently in top form, but this matchup promises to be competitive and intriguing. In their last game against the Browns, Indianapolis showcased a strong defensive performance, limiting the Browns to 316 total yards, 4.4 yards per play, and 18 first downs. However, the Colts offense generated 456 yards but also committed 4 turnovers, including 3 fumbles, and accumulated 8 penalties. This game marked the first time the Colts scored more than 23 points since September 17th. The New Orleans Saints, on the other hand, struggled on 3rd downs against the Jaguars, despite holding possession for 36 minutes and 10 seconds. The Saints have been inconsistent in their scoring, managing 20 or fewer points in 5 of their 7 games so far. If New Orleans hopes to win this matchup, the Saints, led by the arm of quarterback Derek Carr, must jump out to an early lead rather than rely on the quarterback's comeback skills. Last week, Carr threw most of his yards after the Saints had fallen behind. New Orleans needs to take advantage of a below-average Indianapolis defense that is allowing 27 points per game and 351.3 203 total yards per contest, including 232.6 yards passing per game. The Saints need to put a lid on the Indianapolis offense that averages the 6th most points and 10th most total yards by using an excellent defense against both the run and pass. The Saints allow less than 100 yards rushing per game and less than 190 yards passing per game while holding opponents to an average of only 18 points per game, which is 7th. Basically, the key here is New Orleans scoring early and often and holding off Indianapolis the rest of the way. So the New Orleans Saints money line is our full game side pick. The Colts have shown the ability to put up a significant number of points against nearly every opponent this season, contributing to the overhitting more often than not. In contrast, the Saints have struggled to score, leading to the underhitting frequently in their games. In this matchup, the Colts offense is expected to be potent, putting up at least 17 points, while Carr's proficiency is likely to guide the Saints to around 28 points. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.